This is the 20th anniversary of Art Basel Miami Beach, and it's not only marking 2 decades, but really it's marking 2 decades of progress. This is the biggest show we've ever done, but more importantly, it's a show with the broadest range of voices, the most global show we've ever had. And based on everything I've heard so far today, one that people judge to be the best show in terms of the quality that we've ever had. Art Basel is an art fair, and in this fair, we have 282 galleries from all over the world. They've been through a rigorous selection process in order to be included, and they will display works by one or, in some cases, many of their artists within the stands in the Miami Beach Convention Center. We don't take any part in the sales, so all we do basically is create the environment, create the platform, and then, which is very important, bring as many great collectors, museum directors, critics from all over the world as possible to help them promote and sell their artworks.
They looked at a range of cities, including, I think, Chicago, New York, maybe even Los Angeles. But the unique thing that was here in Miami was the level of interest of the city itself, the key collectors, and the museums that really got behind this fair and made it a success.
The beginning, before there was an Art Basel Miami, a group of us sort of collaborated to help bring and encourage Art Basel to come here. But one of the things that bothered me was that Miami was like known as a party town, a fun in the sun place. And I really wanted it to be recognized as something more. And I thought that Art Basel was a perfect way to get our community to advocate culture and to brand ourselves as a city of cultural substance.
I thought it was a crazy idea to bring Basel, the Basel Fair, to Miami Beach. I wasn't alone in that skepticism. The city of Miami Beach was very resistant. They were not willing immediately to give a slot to Art Basel because they thought that this fair would never be able to fill hotel rooms. Now, these are some of the most expensive hotel rates of the year. And it was interesting to watch it evolve, but it's gone in fits and starts, but over time, it's gotten more and more powerful. And I have to say, from the beginning, it was the most important fair in North America, which is the most important art market in the world.
The interesting thing about Art Basel in Miami Beach is the city of Miami Beach I look at as sort of a pile of logs in a fire that's ready to ignite, and Art Basel was really the fuel that poured on this fire. It started out a lot smaller, obviously very intimate. The art world was a really different place at the beginning as well. And so the city was ready for this incredible growth and change, also led by places like the Miami Ballet and the collectors and the museums. They were already here, but Art Basel really infused it with the international global flavor of the art market, bringing in galleries from all over the world. There was obviously a handful of galleries here working for decades, but it really has grown so incredibly alongside the art world, which obviously has become so much more global. I have so many incredible early memories as part of the team that worked with Art Basel in Miami Beach in the early days. Positions used to be on the beach, which is for younger galleries and artists, and it was on the beach in shipping containers. So literal shipping containers, like from the Port of Miami, were converted into exhibition spaces. It was set on a sandy lot. Dealers used to do it in bathing suits and sort of would, catch some sun on the beach in the quiet moments. And there were incredible artists shown at that time who have gone on to become some of the art stars of today. One of the success formulas of this show is the patrons and museums in Miami really are committed to this show and ensuring that it continues to be a success. We've seen art fairs in other cities that don't have the same steam behind them because the collectors are more apathetic about the show, not as passionate, not as committed. This is a fierce group of loyal patrons and supporters. In the early days, that was so unique to Art Basel, where collectors would open their homes here in Miami and welcome complete strangers into their residence to experience their collections, and then would take pride in rehanging them every year for new visits, and that's a tradition that continues today. Very, very unique to this place here in Miami and Miami Beach.
It's a moment where you can come to a city and see the entire city celebrating culture. It's a cultural happening. It's not just a fair. It's anchored by the best and most important fair in the world.
One thing I wish that more people knew is that Art Basel in Miami Beach is really accessible. It's open to everyone. It is ticketed, but it is open to everyone, and the galleries and dealers are really happy to talk to people and educate them about their artists. It really is a snapshot of the global modern and contemporary art market, and it is quite accessible.
No one knows the value of all the artworks here, but pretty regularly in the past, insurance underwriters have said that the value of the work at the Art Basel fairs is somewhere between $1.5 and $2.5 billion. Now, not all of it will be sold, of course, but the other important thing to think about is the range of values. There are regularly works for sale here for more than $10 million from big blue chip artists like Rothko and Warhol and Basquiat. On the other hand, there are also works for sale here for a few $100s, editions, for example, multiples, where you have more than 100 of an artwork, for example. So the range of work that's available here is really important. We did a lot of thinking about how we could make this fair look more like America, look more like the world, and as a result, last year, we had more Black-owned galleries, more galleries from Africa, more galleries from Asia. And so in April, if we hadn't decided to expand the fair, we would either have had to roll back that progress or deny people who helped the fair grow the right to come back. So instead we expanded.
I think probably one of the things that have changed is how the art from Latin America has been, perceived and integrated and incorporated into the larger scene of international contemporary art. When Art Basel was first brought to Miami, the intention behind it was, of course, to open it up to a much larger market that would include Latin America for sure, and I think that's been really, really successful.
Art has been important throughout time because it brings people together and it is a reflection of contemporary culture of our times. And one thing that we have seen as the way museums are reshaping their collections is that that's not always inclusive. And so to me it's interesting how the museums are looking at reshaping their collections with this less Eurocentric position. But additionally, art really is an opportunity to express what's happening around us, whether it's exciting or makes you feel something that you haven't felt before, or makes you curious, or makes you question, or brings joy or outrage. It's this creative outlet. You can just look at it and have a reaction and have a feeling, and then maybe you have a conversation about it.
One of the criticisms of this fair is there are too many parties going on, which has always seemed weird to me for a couple of reasons. First of all, no one is forced to go to a party. Secondly, the notion that art and fun are mutually exclusive is also absurd to me, because some of the most fun people I know are artists. But thirdly, I think seeing it in that way ignores one of the most important things that's happened here, which is that this week has become a kind of reunion of the greater American creative class, in the sense that it's not just people from the visual arts that are here, it's also musicians and actors and architects and fashion designers, and all of these people have been on the floor today, all these types of people.
It's really exciting and also almost bizarre to think this is the 20th anniversary. Art Basel started much smaller and has grown into something much larger, but it's happened incrementally. So it feels the same today as it did at the beginning. From the beginning, it was like mind-blowing, and it continues to be. It's like a really big thing that happened, and I think it will just continue and bring a lot of joy and pleasure to people. It'll define our city. Miami took the power of Art Basel and the sex appeal of Miami and created this global cultural happening.